Get paid to drive. Start a new career behind the wheel at the EMTA. If you are looking for a high-paying and rewarding career with full benefits and paid training, stop by or apply online today with the EMTA. Plus, EMTA riders can now enjoy free Wi-Fi on new, clean, and environmentally friendly buses to travel all over Erie County. Visit ridethee.com for more information.
Get on board EMTA. Get on board EMTA. Get on board.
At Quickfill, what matters most is that our customers, our communities, and our heroes are taken care of. We start by providing American-made gasoline, which means you can buy local, keeping America and your communities strong. We also support vital charities every year and hold Operation Give Thanks each November to help provide a better future for our veterans and their families. We're proud to support the communities we live and work in, and we're doing our best every day to make our towns a better place. Quickfill, driving America.
Welcome to TalkErie.com's Joel Natale Show, Erie, Pennsylvania's daily podcast. Every day, we tackle the biggest issues that the Erie PA region faces. Stay informed and involved as we advance the narrative of Erie. Now, here's Joel Natale.
I'm very glad to welcome to our microphones Mark Becker. He is the athletic director for McDowell High School. Mark, are you the AD for the entire district?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I am the athletic director for Millcreek Township School District. We have the 3 middle schools and, of course, McDowell High School. It's all grades 7 through 12, all PIAA sports.
A fantastic. Okay, that's cool. So So you have some middle school football, and what are some of the sports in middle school? Because you got to build a bench, don't you?
Absolutely. We always talk to our coaches, our junior high coaches, 7 through 9, are really some of our most important coaches, simply because that builds the student athletes' love for the game and wanting to continue to be involved. So we have everything, girls basketball, boys basketball, football, boys and girls soccer, cheerleading, of course. We have girls and boys volleyball. We have track and field. So, yeah, we have a really, really good foundation starting at the middle school level.
And then, of course, with high school, McDowell, plays often at the 6A level, right? I mean, because of the size of the attendance. Where are you at as far as what is the census at McDowell High School, according to the PIAA, I should say? Yeah. Well,
the PIAA has us at a 6A. You know, we have about 2,200 students in grades 9 through 12, and that's what they actually base us on our 9th, 10th, and 11th graders, and then we go on a 2-year cycle, and that's the basis that they use to put us in the different classifications.
And let's talk about some of those outdoor sports. What do you have that use Gus Anderson Field? What are the kind of sports that are currently at the varsity level at Gus Anderson?
Sure. I'll work backwards since we're in the spring right now, so I'm going to start with the spring season. We have boys and girls lacrosse that are on our on the turf.
Is that a club or that's PIAA?
That's PIAA and district sponsored. So they're a full sport for us. And then we have our track and field program, and our track and field program is really a large program. We have probably 160 or more at the high school level that's on that team.
Wow.
And then we have about 100 that's on our middle school teams. And, of course, they have to come to McDowell to use our stadium because we don't have a track at each of the middle schools. So, and then we have a unified track and field team, which is another 45 or 50 student athletes. That's a mix between our special ed students and our regular ed students, and it's a fantastic organization. It's kind of run through the Special Olympics program. It's something that started in the last couple of years. So that's out there as well. That's in the spring. And then, of course, in the fall, we have boys and girls soccer and football at all levels get the opportunity to play at McDowell as well.
Do you have you have practice field across Kahi, but do you have football fields at any of the middle schools as well, or no?
We have grass fields at the middle schools, and they do play some of their games there, where they do have an opportunity to play at McDowell. And, of course, besides the teams, we also have our marching band is heavily involved and uses that stadium. Our cheerleaders use that stadium. We have outside community events that are there. James Conner holds his camp there every summer. We have our phys ed classes are there constantly. That when the weather's nice, they're outside, and we have other community partners as well.
Describe the turf for me too.
Sure.
At Gus Anderson there.
The current turf was installed in 2014.
Okay.
So it is past its useful life as defined by the company.
Is it
that
the
installs
little pebbles in the?
It's the black rubber pebbles.
Okay,
Yeah.
Is that still state of the art, or is there new technology now for turf?
There's a couple different options, but that's usually what is still installed.
Okay,
yeah,
gotcha.
Yeah,
gotcha.
So ours is past its life. The underlayment is a little packed down, so we have some flooding issues. There's of course tear issues and those kind of things that happen. So it's past its life, and it's been well maintained, and we've gotten it as far as we have. But it's time.
Let's talk about the history of Gus Anderson Field.
Sure.
When was that built? What was the capacity? Talk about some of the things there. Yeah.
The original field, I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah.
This is my 13th year as AD. I know the bleachers have been there for 50 years.
Wow.
So the stadium's been in place for quite some time. Our capacity is around 5,000. That's a sellout crowd for us. It gets used by so many people for so many events, and again, just on a day-to-day basis, our practices and our phys ed classes. We hold other activities that our clubs run. We have a Walk for the Cause that includes 9 through 12. That is a huge event for us. So it really is a facility that gets used a lot and has seen better days.
Yeah.
And I'm proud of our district for maintaining it and keeping it good as long as we have, and not having to spend tax dollar money to upgrade it. But it's time.
If you get around Pennsylvania, right? If we were to go down to North Allegheny, or I don't know, Hickory or whatever, or just other 6A schools,
right?
Let's just do some peer-to-peer comparison here.
Yeah.
What would we maybe experience at a North Allegheny, for example?
Well, North Allegheny's facilities are newer and nice.
How big are they?
It's I don't know what their capacity is, but it's a nice sized field, and of course the new video scoreboards and the locker rooms are high tech, and everything's nice. And it's not just North Allegheny, right? We just see Moon is coming up with a new stadium. Norwin is putting in a new stadium. All throughout Pittsburgh, they have the nice turf fields and the new stadiums, and everything's just for the student athletes and for the daily use. It's important.
Yeah, I don't think you actually even have to be in the Pittsburgh Metro though to see some big stadiums. Right. I mean, like I mentioned, Hickory. Again, my experience is track and field.
Right.
So Hickory has one of the top track and field meets of the year.
Sure.
In the spring, and I mean that's quite a
It's
quite a deal.
It's quite a facility, and we travel across Ohio too. We go to
sure, yeah.
we travel to Buffalo, New York, and you see the same thing everywhere we go. The stadiums we go to, the stadiums we play in. We need an upgrade, and not just to keep up, but to give the best for our student athletes.
Talk about the start of the project here. How long have you been working on developing a game plan for what you're calling now the McDowell Athletic Center, right?
The McDowell Athletic Complex, yes.
Complex,
yeah.
Excuse me.
Yeah. It's we've been talking about it probably since the second year I became AD, to be honest with you. Yeah. But this specific project's been about 2 or 3 years that we've really been talking about it and really trying to move forward with it. At this point, we have board approval for the architectural drawings. They should be done in about 6 to 8 months. Once that hits, we are really going to have a foundation that is focused on doing some capital fundraising and going out speaking with alumni, people that are interested in the improvements, community members, community partners, and really trying to get this thing moved forward.
Let's park here on the capital fundraising, because I think it's been there needs to be some clarity that comes down to how this is working. The structure of the Booster Club is being used as a conduit for the capital fundraising, yet you have a capital fundraising committee that's doing this. Talk about that.
Right. The Booster Group is letting us use their structure and their status to run the money through. They are not doing the fundraising. The foundation, the Capital Fundraising Campaign Group, is doing the fundraising.
Because there's a lot of boxes of popcorn to come up with $9.5 million.
Absolutely.
Right?
The boosters do not have that in
Right.
their coffers. They're not holding on to it. They're simply being helpful in allowing this fundraising committee to work through them. And it's going to be a group effort, right? It's going to be all kinds of, it's not just the football boosters at all. Every one of those groups, every one of those programs that I talked about earlier is going to be heavily involved.
And what's kind of cool about this is that when you think about McDowell athletic alumni, we're talking some pretty significant names here.
Yeah.
Of course, James Conner is the first one that comes to mind, right?
Absolutely.
But, there's some folks that could really provide some fuel to the fire of raising $9.5 million.
Yeah, we finally have something in place where we can go and talk to those people. It's you have to have the structure in place. You have to have the foundation in place. Mm-hmm. And then we do have a tremendous alumni database that of people that have gone through McDowell, that are proud alum, that want to see us succeed and want to give back to the community and have the current student athletes going through to have the best.
Why do the fundraising though? Just why not just float a bond and pay with this with debt?
Well, some of the money is coming from a bond.
Okay.
Some of the money is coming from gate receipts. There's a account that has been established for extracurricular activities, registration fees that are paid by our student athletes to be in sports is into that account as well. So it leaves about $10 million that needs to be raised. And we are not going to raise taxes to do this. It's separate pots of money. It is not in the annual budget. This is outside of that, and we want it to be that way so that we can not touch the budget, but make these improvements, in other ways.
Mark, I want to talk about some of the plans and what exactly is going to happen. There's been some couple articles. I think Mike Copper in the newspaper presented some artist renderings and so on. Maybe you could explain it for a radio audience, right, what it looks like of what you guys are going to do.
Yeah, well, first thing is when you're on the east side of the stadium right now, that's where the student walkway is between MIHS and McDowell Senior High. That's going to be part of the project also. That's part of the bond issue. And then we are going to...
You're going to replace the student walkway. Okay.
Yeah, we'll see what all is involved there.
Yeah.
And then the track is going to be moved a little bit to the west. That's going to allow us to add the 2 extra lanes. That's going to give us the 8-lane track. And again, that's for the daily use that we have with all of our athletes.
Right.
And
are you going to use like whatever is state of the art as far as track materials? Is that the plan?
Yeah. We're gonna talk.
It's
to
like
vendors.
a rubber track,
yeah. The new rubber track, of course. Yeah. We'll talk to the vendors as we get the renderings from the architects and move through that phase. But we're going to move that. Again, it's at the end of its life. It needs to be replaced. The football field is the end of its life. It needs to be replaced. The bleachers, they get inspected every year, and we're upkeeping them every year, but it's time for them to be replaced. And, of course, once you do that, then you have to, add restrooms. You have to make it ADA compliant. Again, a lot of the money is going to go to make sure we're ADA compliant. That comes from the bond issue as well. And then, upgrading the electric so that everything works correctly, stormwater management, all those things that go into it, moving land.
Are we changing out lights as far as like, are you going to LED lighting just like the Seawolves just did,
Yeah, I don't know if it'll be quite what the Seawolves have, but we're going to go to LED lighting. It's going to be pretty slick. It's going to be really nice. And it's the lights are so concentrated now on the field the way they do them now, where they don't spill over into the neighborhood. You just see them on
a little less light pollution
in the stadium, right?
Wow.
You see them in the stadium, so it's really nice. And again, the west field, the grass field, that's going to be throwing areas for our track and field program. So it's quite extensive renovations.
How if you were looking at the football field, how many yards are you sliding it west? It looks like 25 to 30 yards, doesn't it?
I think the plan is 30 yards. Yes,
okay.
You're right. Yeah.
That's significant.
It is. And again, that's just to make the extra 8 lanes, which is important. It's again, the daily use that we get on there. It is important that we have that extra space. Again, the numbers I gave you earlier adds up to about 300 track and field athletes on that track every day.
Are you building a building or concessions or restrooms on the east side of the field? What is there some kind of construction on the east side?
The design is still being done.
Okay.
So and we're in talks, with the architects of what exactly is going to be done. The concession stand is going to be on the east side. There's going to be restrooms on the visitors' side. We've not had, for the visitors to go to the restroom, they've had to come behind the home stands into the school to go to ADA compliant restrooms. So we're going to have restrooms on the visitors' side. So that's long overdue and will be enjoyed by our visitors, of course. So the bleachers on the visitors' side will be improved. They haven't been touched for many, many years. Also, I think the early to mid '90s is when they were touched. So yeah, it's exciting improvements.
Yeah, I mean This is an editorial comment by Natalie. Sure. Okay, yeah, I mean there was a time where we tried to do everything as let's face it, we like to cheap things out, and I feel like Erie has turned a corner, in the last 5 years where, what, we're not going to cheap things out. I think if our largest high school, which between you and Erie High is it, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
We should have, best in class facilities for our student athletes and for the taxpayers. Yeah. Whether they're city taxpayers or Millcreek Township taxpayers, to be able to go in and not get either splinters or a trip hazard, or you think about safety, you think about comfort. Yeah, safety, handrails, ADA compliance, seating. You think about all those things when you do this. Modern restrooms. Modern restrooms are very exciting. As funny as it sounds, it's super exciting to be able to have that for our guests, right, and for our fans as well. So, yeah, I think it's time that we give our student athletes and our community, something that is first class, no doubt about it. Talk about, you mentioned that, some of these schools have video boards or whatever. Is there going to be any improvements, let's say, to the scoreboard or just, I guess, fan experience, if you would? Absolutely. The video board is something that you see almost everywhere we go, and it's nice for player introductions. It's nice for the video replays, those kind of things, hype videos that you can put on there, but just the overall experience of just seeing the time and the score and the downs and the distance and the track times, and it's having access to all of those things, and the way the scoreboards are done now. There's a lot of times there's a student aspect to running them. There's a classroom aspect. One of the companies that we work with, they have a classroom curriculum where students in the classroom can help design those things. So it adds that educational part to it as well. That's pretty exciting, Mark. When you think about that, it could a video on the big screen could be a project, or you're able, for pregame to tell a story of an athlete that maybe has overcome some kind of obstacle, or it's just got or it's just, it's just a feel-good story here by being able to do all that stuff. What about sound? I mean, is this going to be a comprehensive retrofit? Yeah. Of course, speakers will be involved as well, and that's something that we struggle with right now. Sometimes our announcer comes in and out a little bit. You got to make sure you're close to the mic, and then just the feedback that you get. Yeah. So we're excited to have all those improvements for sure. You were talking to, I guess, in the paper it was saying press boxes. Talk a little bit about some of the amenities and the assets that you're trying to do, because again, now more is required of athletic departments than ever for the video and all that stuff. Yeah, we do. In our press box, we do have cameras. It's called a huddle camera, where we live stream. Also, our coaches can use it for daily practices, where they can record their practices and use it as a teaching tool. We have press area for people that want to come in and do the radio or even TV. We've had that the last couple of years as well. So the utilization of it requires more and more all the time. Yeah. And again, a lot of that design is going to take place over the next couple of months with the architect. So yeah, that's where we're at right now, is that there's about an 8 to 10 month window where you're kind of working with architects. Yeah. Are you using kind of a stadium specialist for this? Or
yeah, they've done many projects throughout the tri-state area, so it's somebody that's very used to doing these projects. And I think it's also important that we point out that we are touching base with all of the programs that use that facility. The McDowell Athletic Complex is going to be, used by all those programs I mentioned earlier. So we're getting everybody's input, making sure that we're not missing something, that everybody has the opportunity to have input.
Looking for amazing finds and incredible deals? Visit Erie City Mission Thrift today. From stylish clothes and shoes to quality furniture and home goods, you'll discover something new each time while changing lives right here in Erie. It's shopping that feels good and does good. Come see us in Erie and Girard. Erie City Mission Thrift. Thrift with a purpose.
All year round, Frontier Home Products and Design has what you need to make your home comfortable and beautiful. Relax on a new timber tech deck designed by Frontier's experts. A new fireplace from Frontier Home Products Fireplace Gallery adds warmth and serenity to any home. Beauty and versatility at Frontier Home Products and Design Center, 4213 Peachtree, 5th next to the Bayfront Highway.
Frontier Home Products and Design Center. Discover a new frontier.
PA contractor number PA039007.
From baggage claim to pajamas in 10 minutes. Erie International Airport. Fly with ERI.com.
Fly Erie International Airport to Charlotte on American Airlines, your nonstop gateway to the world. Also, we have Breeze Airways flying nonstop to Orlando and Tampa, Florida. A great low-cost carrier providing excellent service to the regional community. Fly Erie International for your travel needs.
Fly with ERI.com.
we're talking about the retrofit, the reconstruction of Gus Anderson Field here in the next few years. Out at McDowell, out at Millcreek Township School District here. Mark Becker is the athletic director, and he's explaining the project here. And, Mark, I kind of want to get into the nitty-gritty, if you will, one more time so people understand both the timeline and the cost structure here. So right now, the board of directors of the school district have authorized a design phase. Is that accurate?
That is accurate. They've approved the design for $900,000, just over $900,000, and that allows us now to work with the architect, come up with the design that we want, and then we will go back to them, and if the fundraising efforts and everything are successful and they like the design, then we can move forward and hopefully get approval for the project.
And you guys have a pretty good idea that with the assets that you want to bring to bear, with the needs that are at Gus Anderson, it's probably going to be $19.5 million or thereabouts for the project.
Right. Somewhere in that ballpark is what we're estimating, yes.
Yeah. And again, I think it's important to understand how long this is going to take. So we're in design next 8 to 10 months, probably looking at what? End of the year for some drawings, or
so what we're hoping for is by September of at least some initial renderings. The fundraising arm, the foundation, is really anxious to get a hold of those because it makes it easier to approach people when you have something to show them, and then maybe 2027 maybe break ground, and then maybe be able to use it by 2028. That's a general, very, very general. We'll have to see how everything goes, if everything gets approved, if the fundraising happens, but that's a very general timeline.
I would imagine you have to take Gus Anderson offline. What would that look like, and what era? Would that be the 27-28 school year? What are you thinking there?
Yeah, that's going to obviously be a lot of conversation, right, of when and what teams that's going to impact in the fall and in the spring. We have good community relationships with other school districts, universities. We'll have to see what's available, exactly the timeline, and where we can go. But those are all things that are in our mind and will definitely be worked out.
Did we have to do a couple things in the past 5 years where you had to move, or I'm trying to remember if you had like water issues or something that caused you to move a couple games?
A couple games we had to move a playoff game, actually, because the day of the game it rained so hard and the field was flooded, so we had to move a playoff game from Gus Anderson to somewhere else. So that was unfortunate situation.
Was that due to lack of good drainage at Gus Anderson?
The age of the field, the
Yeah.
underlayment gets compacted, and when it gets compacted over time, it just doesn't drain as quickly as it should. So it needs some work done.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. So and there's other things that we've had, whether it was things that was being done in the pool, whether it was when we constructed baseball and softball, we make do with what we have to do and move around and change timelines and again reach out to some community partners that can help us out and get through those stages. So I'm confident we'll make it happen again.
You're limited right now on track and field to 6 lanes.
Right.
Does that kind of takes you out of the running for like hosting District 10 or anything, right?
Yeah, it definitely takes us out of the running for that. Whether in the future, it will definitely allow us to have our track and field invitationals. We have a high school invitational, a middle school invitational. It'll allow us to have more participants, more teams. It may put us in the running for the District 10 meet. But again, I really want to emphasize the day-to-day use that we get out of it, the number of student athletes we have using it, our PE classes that use it. It really is a need for the upgrade for the extra lanes.
When you're a runner, you're doing what is a is a punishment for all the other sports, right? If you don't make your baskets, you run the court, right? If you don't make your free throws, but the runners, they run.
Yeah. I was actually sorry to interrupt, but I was actually a track and field coach for a little bit of time.
What era was that?
This was back when I coached. It was probably 14, 15 years ago.
Oh, okay.
And it was at the middle school level. But that was one of the things that we always talked about is you don't want to use running for punishment. That's something we want the kids to do. You're supposed to enjoy running.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
Exactly right. Again, let's reinforce that. Some of the realities, the lived experience of both student athletes, of fans, of parents. Again, if you're sitting at a track meet or through football practice and you're waiting, to pick up your kid, and you're dealing with bleachers that haven't been replaced in 50 years, that's an issue.
Yeah. Again, a lot of it is, they're safe to sit on. We've upkept them and all those things. But, the ADA compliance and the railings and the restrooms, those are the things that people are really going to notice a difference about.
Yeah, yeah. All right. So, again, the financial stack, if you will, and again, we talk a lot about capital stacks here, is that the plan is to use about $5 million. Again, I don't want to put words in your mouth.
Sure.
About $5 million for a bond and $5 million from receipts. Talk about that.
Yeah, we've established an account for extracurricular activities, and we take the gate receipts from all of our events where people pay to come to our games, and we put them into that account. We've also, when our student athletes register for sports, there's a participation fee. That's gone into that account. There's some rental, some advertising that's done, in those facilities that we've put into that account. So that accounts for about another $5 million.
Okay.
So then on the rest is what we're relying on this foundation and this capital fundraising to come up with.
All right. So for the taxpayers, the bond issue is $5 million.
Right.
Okay. Editorial comment. It's just not very much.
Yeah.
That's not a very large bond for a massive school district like yours.
And a lot of that, is going to go towards redoing the walkway just outside the stadium, and it's going to be done at the same time for obvious reasons. It's part of it. And then, the ADA compliance. Right. So that's where most of the bond money is going, yeah.
Okay. All right. So next steps, we just have to wait for the design, I guess, at this point.
We're getting the design. I know the foundation's already starting to work hard. They're coming up with plans, marketing plans, ideas, how they're going to approach this, how they're going to attack it. But it's exciting. It really is. It's been a long time coming. And again, I think we've been good stewards of what we have, and things are just in need of replacement. Right. Again, I'll say it. The field needs replaced. It's at the end of its life. The track needs replaced. It's at the end of its life. The bleachers need replaced. They're failing inspections. And when you do that, you have to add restrooms. You have to add ADA compliance. The electric has to be upgraded. The ground needs to be moved. The stormwater management has to be taken care of. All those things. It's just it's just something that has to be done, and I'm excited that it's getting done.
Beautiful. Well, we will stay with this story here because I think it's fascinating, and again, I think about the big schools that you guys are facing, and it's not just football. It's soccer, men's or boys and girls soccer, boys and girls lacrosse. I mean, you're bringing in some of these really big schools from Ohio, from New York, from Pittsburgh area. It's like we want to have a showcase.
Yeah. I think we treat our visitors very, very well. You know, we
but if they have to go to the bathroom,
exactly.
A half a mile away, that doesn't make sense.
Right. We do the best we can with what we have, and I think we do a good job. But having the newer facilities, it will make it much more attractive for visiting teams that come to us. No doubt about it.
All righty. If first off, if folks maybe want to get involved with the fundraising, I'm thinking about former McDowell athletes that maybe might have a few bucks burning a hole in their pocket. Is there a place that they could talk to or go to?
That information is going to be coming out real soon. As a school district employee, I'm not involved with that.
Okay.
But if the foundation is putting things together, they are creating ways that people are going to be able to give. They're coming up with a structure. So all that information is going to come out on social media platforms, websites, and those kind of things. It'll be coming out very soon.
Beautiful. Anything else that we need to cover? I think we've got it, right? I mean,
I think we've done a good job of saying why we need it and why we're excited about it. And I appreciate you having me on to hopefully clear up any misconceptions and get the correct information out there, but also just to build excitement, build talk about it, and get people excited about what's coming.
Beautiful. Mark Becker, he is the athletic director for the Millcreek School District in McDowell. Big doings at Gus Anderson Field here in the next few years. I appreciate it, Mark. Thanks so much for taking the time. You got it.
You've been listening to The Joel Natale Show, Erie, Pennsylvania's daily podcast from TalkErie.com. Subscribe to our show on your favorite podcatcher and get involved by emailing joel@TalkErie.com.